This video is about documenting information. Sources for your coursework must be documented, which is a core component of information literacy. Documenting sources is to use them ethically, and it maintains your academic integrity. Students are expected to document sources for the hot topic study discussions, writing assignments, and research paper.
The way you document sources is by citing them in APA format. APA stands for American Psychological Association. Admittedly, putting sources in APA format can be tricky and tedious, and students often wonder why it has to be done this way. It's because writers and researchers in the early 20th century needed style standards to increase the ease of reading comprehension. Over time, APA format has been adopted by higher education, and now it's a way for your professors to easily find the sources you cite and to better understand how and why you use them. Cite sources when you quote from the source directly, paraphrase an idea, or summarize a passage. Citing in APA format comes with two parts: an in-text or parenthetical citation, and a references list. For in-text citations, place them after a quotation, phrase, or borrowed idea. It should look something like this. Suppose you've inserted this quote in the middle of a paragraph of a paper you're writing. After the quote, you give credit to the source by naming its author, its date of publication, and the page number it appeared on. You place this information in parentheses before closing the sentence with a period. An in-text citation might also look like this. Here we are paraphrasing part of the quote. When you paraphrase, you do not need to include a page number. An in-text citation could even look like this, where the publication date and page number are in separate parentheses, and since the author is referred to in the text, his name does not need to be repeated in the citation. This is a more stylized version of an in-text citation. Feel free to try it in your own writing, or stick to the traditional author date page number format. Generally, APA in-text citations follow an author date format, with page numbers included if you're using a direct quote. However, some sources may need to be formatted a bit differently, such as if there are no authors, or if a source has no page numbers like a website. In this case, refer to the library's APA Online Style Guide for help, or contact the library. Next, we'll go over your references list. For each source you cite in your text, you'll need a corresponding reference at the end of the paper. References are detailed information about the sources you used. Your references list only includes resources you cite in your paper, not everything you may have read during the research process. If you have a source in your references list, it must have a corresponding in-text citation. Your citations will differ depending on the resources you're using. For example, print and electronic sources are cited a little differently, even if they are the exact same article. Not all resources will have all the information APA asks for, such as no author or date. In your references list, be sure to capitalize only the first word of the title and of the subtitle, if any, and any proper nouns. Each entry should have a hanging indent and double space your references list. Here's an example of a reference in proper format. Here's a quick look at some examples of references in APA format. As you'll see from these examples of print resources, each one has slight variations in the information it provides depending on source type, like a book or newspaper. Some include editions or editors. One has multiple authors, another has none. Similarly, electronic resources also contain slight variations. For example, the first has a DOI, or Digital Object Identifier. Others show the website they were found on, while another shows the date the student first accessed the source, but has no date for when the source was written. Again, head to the library's APA Style Guide for more information and help. There are links that will give you more information on in-text citations and annotated bibliographies.
Citations are tricky, and that's why the librarians are here to help you when you get stuck. Here are some common errors found in students' work when it comes to citations. Citations are placed after the punctuation. Think of the citation as part of the sentence, so put your period after the citation itself. Citations fail to include the year of publication. If a source has no date, use lowercase n period, lowercase d period to indicate that. Citations include the author's full name. In APA, only an author's first initial is used and a middle initial if there is one. Sources in the reference list are not alphabetized or do not have a hanging indent. Double check that all of your sources are alphabetized by author or title in the place of a source with no author, and use the paragraph menu in Word to select hanging indents for your references list. Before answering the questions in this week's discussion, be sure to review the HRM 201 course guide. If you need any help, be sure to contact the library. Good luck!